Show, offering the best in financial information. The views and opinions expressed by Ray and his guests are not necessarily those of this radio station or its sponsors and should not be construed as legal, tax, or investment advice. You should always consult the appropriate advisor before making any financial decision. Ray and the Brain Trust are available to answer your money questions at 877-PLANNER or at raylucia.com.
XEPN 700 AM Decatur Balikan.
Your home for the College Football Bowl season and the BCS. ESPN Radio 1700.
You're listening to Mr. Credit on San Diego 1700 with local credit expert Derek Evans. Now, live in studio, Mr. Credit.
I had 3 hours, but we've only got one, so we got to jump right to it. How about them Chargers, Fastadas? How about Phillip Rivers, for example? Let's start right there. Chargers win 29-23 in Texas, come from behind. Was there ever any doubt? Were you ever at all concerned about that game at any point during it? You know, the best part about it? The best part about the game was I actually got to watch it. Imagine that. We just need to have an away game in order for that to be possible. Houston Texans are no joke, by the way. They are no joke. Now, they've got a great running back. They have a really good quarterback, one of the best receivers in the game. That was a very, very big win. However, how in the hell do we get another punt blocked? How is it possible for our special teams to be so bad that on the one play where all you have to do is just make sure that the punter, who's standing 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, can kick the freaking ball? And we got one of the best punters around.
Yeah!
But it doesn't do any good if he's kicking it into the other team's hands. Now, I don't think that punt block is actually going to go as a punt block in the stats because it did actually go forward and go beyond the line of scrimmage. But I don't care. Punt block is a punt block. Now, let's get to Phillip Rivers really quick. I pulled up some numbers. And we got DB producing the show today. You're probably going to hear from Derek Brown at some point. Now, the thing that we've got here is an unbelievable quarterback in Phillip Rivers and an incredible amount of consistency. You won't believe these numbers. Listen to this. 2010, Phillip Rivers, completion percentage, 65.3%. For the entire year of 2009, 65.2. For the entire year of 2008, 65.3. I'm not kidding. 65.3, 65.2, 65.3. The guy completes 2 out of every 3 passes, period. Now, he's got more attempts per game. He's averaging almost exactly 30 throws per game the last 2 years. This year, 36 and change. But he's on pace to throw for over 5,000 yards. The guy's going to throw for over 5,000 yards. Like, that is, unless he gets hurt, that is going to happen. How crazy is that? How crazy would it be if Phillip Rivers threw for 5,000 yards and we didn't make the playoffs? How crazy would that be? Now, he's on pace to throw more picks this year than usual, but he's getting a lot more pressure. He's getting sacked more. He's been sacked 22 times this year. The previous 2 years, only 25 times each year. So he's almost got a year's worth of sacks in the first half of the season. Plus, let's look at his rating. This is just unbelievable stuff. You don't get this at this level of sports in the NFL. Quarterback rating, last 3 years. This year, 103 for Phillip Rivers. Last year, 104. Year before that, 105. I mean, what do you want? I am going out there and I'm saying, not because I'm a Chargers fan, but I'm saying Phillip Rivers is the best quarterback in the NFL. And if you want to try to argue that somehow, good luck. No! It'll be ugly. I'll brutalize you all the way through it. Because what do you want some of that, DB? You want some of that? What are you going to say, Michael Vick?
No. I'm a Manning fan.
Okay.
Both brothers, actually, Eli and Peyton.
Okay.
It's a hard toss-up between the two for me, but I think Peyton Manning.
You think Peyton Manning?
Yeah.
There's this word that comes to mind every time every time I hear Peyton Manning, I think Asante Samuel. For some reason, it just comes into my brain. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's picked off like 100 of Manning's passes in the last couple of years. But okay, I get you there, and I get the whole idea that if you've got a quarterback that's that good, then the record should be better. But you can't. This is a total paradox this year. The whole getting a punt blocked every game thing, and just special teams coughing the ball up. I mean, look who Phillip Rivers is getting it done with.
That's true. Okay.
Who are the players he's throwing to? A tight end who's a washed-up guy? Yeah, Isara Tutu or whatever?
Who?
I mean, yeah, who? Who is he throwing the ball to? Doesn't matter. Both of those guys got 2 touchdowns on Sunday, okay? Both of those guys are catching 100 yards worth of passes. He's distributing the ball to whoever's there. Doesn't matter. Phillip Rivers is going to make you look good if you're a receiver.
He's going to make you look good, but the key thing is you got to get to the playoffs. You have to get to the playoffs, and then you have to win in the playoffs on top of that. I see Phillip Rivers getting into the playoffs if he was by himself.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sorry, but as long as, and I agree with you, yeah, Phillip Rivers is an outstanding quarterback. His numbers are amazing this season.
Unbelievably consistent.
On top of all of that, though, they have no running game. Okay, so that's why his numbers are really huge because, I mean, look, they're using all 3 running backs. Is there any other NFL team, I don't know if you know this, that are using all 3 running backs? like
sure.
As much as we do?
Not as much as we do. They get him in at the end of the game when it's over. No, but, I mean, you're right. He is throwing for 327 yards a game this year versus 265 and 250 the previous years when you have LT, when you have other guys who you can spread the ball around to and hand the ball off to. But then it makes it even more difficult for him in the passing game because they're not loading up the box. He's not getting a lot of one-on-ones.
Right.
There's a lot of zone. There's a lot of cover 2 going on. But he's finding the holes. He's finding the open guys. He's getting it to all these. That bomb he threw down the middle to Isara Tutu guy. I mean, that was just an amazing pass. Where he said, "Look, I know where my receiver is going to be, and I'm going to put it there."
But you know what this season is reminding me of? The Dan Fouts era. We have this great quarterback that can just throw up outstanding numbers and nobody to support him.
That's why it's important. That's why, a team, when you look at the Colts, you'd have to say that the organization of the Colts superior to the organization that is the San Diego Chargers, unfortunately.
Most definitely.
Then you would also have to say, the team coaching, is B and a close B, almost like an 8.1. And then, of course, obviously the surrounding players, the defense is key. Our defense is pretty good, So I like, even though we've gotten this nastiness kind of out of our system, at least I hope. But, hopefully that's all behind us because you get it out of the way early. We've got Kansas City coming in to town. We're going to get to play Kansas City at home. We also get to play Oakland at home. Both teams surprises this year, both in our same division. There's good things about the way that this season is going to finish out where if we can perform, I think we'll have the chance to get to the playoffs and potentially do some damage if we can get some guys healthy and back on the field, some real playmakers.
Right, exactly. I mean, you definitely need Antonio Gates at 100% before you want to get to the playoffs. But trust me, I am so shocked to even say this, but the Raiders might give us trouble. I mean, what is that all about?
Okay.
I mean, the Raiders are, that's just amazing. I'm very happy for them. I mean, I'm not a Raider fan. I mean, I grew up in San Diego. We grew up hating the Raiders. But, I mean, there's a possibility that the Raiders can beat us into the playoffs. The possibility the Chiefs can beat us into the playoffs. I mean,
yes. That's salary cap professional sports for you. Well, I mean, here's the thing. The Raiders have been so bad for so long, they're due. They do have a good team, though. It's painful to say it, but the Raiders actually look pretty good. Come from behind victory against Kansas City on Sunday. Kansas City gave it away. They just gave it to them, and they just laid down. They went to sleep at the end of the game. I think there was 3 minutes and change left. They were up by a field goal, driving. Bo drops an easy pass that would have been a first down. And that was the turning point. Boom. It's like right then everyone shut it down. The Raiders came back. They wanted it more at home. And actually that was very helpful for the Chargers because Kansas City is trying to pull away as it stands, anyway, if Kansas City's 5-3 now, the Oakland Raiders are 5-4. If the Chiefs had won, they've been 6-2. So the Chargers 4-5 would have been a much longer road. So now at 5-3 for the Chiefs, 5-4 for the Raiders, and 4-5 for the Chargers, we're actually right in the middle of that whole mix. So as much as we don't like them, they also have to play each other.
Right.
In this case, it worked out to our benefit, and we're right there in the mix. It's time to actually get excited again. Everybody, all the bandwagoners who got off, it's time to get back on. And yes, it's painful to say it, but the Raiders have a pretty good team. And if we can beat them at home and we can beat the Chiefs at home, I think those are the staples. Those are what's going to matter. Now, you talk about the Chargers, I mean, you can say a lot of things about them, but this is raw numbers. This is real data. Total offense, number one, San Diego Chargers, 420 yards a game. Next closest team is the Giants at 400 and the Colts at 395. And then you got the Eagles and the Falcons. If you look at passing, once again, Chargers, number one, 312 yards a game passing. Indianapolis Colts, 302, Broncos, 296. You look at rushing, though, this is where it starts to get scary for us. You look at rushing, we're not on the chart. Kansas City is number one, and Oakland Raiders are number two. Shoot fire.
Wow, that is brutal.
It's scary. Because although we have a good defense, these balanced attacks that we're going to be up against are, that's not what you want to see. And then you got the Giants, the Jets, and the Eagles from there. Speaking of the Eagles, my goodness, Michael Vick, what a monster. I just love watching him play. And why aren't there more running style quarterbacks in the NFL?
Run?
Oh, man.
My gosh.
Yeah, he was
unbelievable.
Up the field so fast and then sideways to the sideline before anyone got a chance to get to him. What a player. Now, let me tell you something. We have a lot of goals with the show today. We've got a lot of things to get to, but I can tell you one thing right now. I want to tell you everything that they don't want you to know, all right? This is Mr. Credit, ESPN 1700. And when I say they, I'm talking about Wall Street gangsters, I'm talking about government, I'm talking about banks, the credit bureaus, media, debt settlement companies, healthcare industry, anybody who's trying to get at your hard-earned money or deceive you into spending it unwisely. Now, the number one thing they don't want you to know is how good Chapter 7 bankruptcy can be for you and your family. They don't want you to know because they lose. You win. If you deleted all your credit card debt today, tell me how that would feel. Would you feel better? Do you think you would enjoy the afternoon a little bit more? Yahoo! I think you would. And the truth is your credit score actually go much higher. Almost every single time. It only takes 100 days to go through the process, but you don't even have to think about that yet. If you have any financial stress at all attached to your life right now, you don't have to live with it. You can use the same law that the Donald Trumps, Walt Disney's, Henry Fords have used in the past, and even Abe Lincoln, that's right, Honest Abe, filed for bankruptcy. It's not what they have taught you to think it is. It's there to help you. It's the law. It's legal. You can delete your debt. If you want to become debt-free, call William McDonald today, the best bankruptcy attorney in Southern California, 858-437-0103. 858-437-0103 if you want to become debt-free. Just tell William that Mr. Credit sent you. Get your free consultation. Become educated today. 858-437-0103. When we come back, there are some water officials. That's right, water officials here in San Diego that get paid to go to festivals and movies. Paid by you and me. I'm going to tell you how much. This is something they don't want you to know when we come back on Mr. Credit Radio, ESPN 1700.
It is important to understand our rights. If you feel your rights have been violated, call 1-800-715-2000. This message is brought to you by the National Commission of Human Rights.
I've worked with plenty of different mortgage companies in San Diego, and while there are some who do a great job, there is only one that I can say is truly the best in the business. The Craig Sewing Lending Group provides an experience and expertise in real estate financing that is absolutely second to none. I've known Craig for a dozen years, and I know you would be satisfied working with him. Call 888-880-9500. That's 888-880-9500, or go to craigsewing.com if you're interested in buying real estate in Southern California. It's also worth considering the terms on your loan if you already own property. Rates are at levels that just absolutely boggle the mind right now, and chances are you could save some easy money here. Call Craig Sewing today, 888-880-9500, and tell him Mr. Credit sent you. That's 888-880-9500, or online at craigsewing.com.